Hello and welcome to the Dog Savant podcast. My name is Brett Endies. I am a professional dog trainer. This podcast is for you if you are a dog owner or puppy owner seeking dog training and behavior advice. If you are a client in the real world looking to supplement the work we are doing. And of course, if you're just anyone interested in dog training, dog behavior, the life of a professional dog trainer, this podcast is for you. I always ask, please rate, review, share, subscribe. It takes only 30 seconds to put a good review. I'm going to go through them and I might offer an online training session for just a random, maybe once a month. I am also offering online training sessions via Zoom and FaceTime. They work out great. I coach you through scenarios while also demonstrating with my own dogs. It is the primary way I've been seeing clients the past 5 months because of COVID-19, and it's worked out great. I have no complaints, and I think I can help you. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. My email address directly is dogtrainingla@gmail.com. Okay, so don't forget to do that. Let's see, I think today is episode 93. We're getting closer to 100 here. And I wanted to talk about leash reactivity. Now, I always, I've done podcasts about walking and leash reactivity, but I just figured that, like I always say, is that if I just keep doing episodes or explaining a similar subject, maybe it might come out a little differently to help someone, because really we're talking about something abstract. We're trying to understand the behavior of an animal that isn't what we are, with our basic understandings of conditioning, instinct, and just all of these factors that lead into a dog listening or not listening, having behavioral issues, and so on. So it's not always that straightforward. So again, it's just for me to be able to paint a good enough picture to apply the techniques that I've learned have worked when I've, of course, done this with real world clients. I want to be able to just help as many people and just give as many scenarios that you might be able to relate to. So sometimes I'll have motivation for my podcast episodes based upon a real world experience or a client session I had recently. And today's no different. Actually, today I saw a dog at a local dog park here in Colorado who has reactivity. He's a great dog. He's a sweet, nice dog with people. A little agenda-minded, but he's very quick to go. And it's really a result of it's a woman who had just gotten him from her adult son, who had him, I think, until about I'd say like a year or 2 years old. He's not that mature, and he had no rules, no structure. He was constantly reacting to every movement in the house, which I talk about all the time. That's how puppies turn into adult dogs with issues, is they are too free too soon, and they are getting too caught up in the stimuli, transitions, changes, coming and going, social interactions around the house or out in the world, and that leads to them getting overstimulated by just anything around them that moves and changes, and they have other symptoms of pretty severe at times behavior issues because of it. So he's got reactivity and some other issues around the house, just following, hypervigilance, he'll be under the deck, and then when they're on top, he starts reacting to the light and the movement. So today we had our session to deal with this dog issue, because this is our third session. We haven't really addressed that. We've done some walking structure around the home, the deck stuff, but we're going to get into the reactivity today. So great dog, of course, when you first work with him, and we had to have a pinch collar on him. There's no other option. We tried even a star mark collar, which is good for around the house, but anytime he's just too willful, distracted, or with another dog just insecure where his adrenaline spikes, we need something to snap him out of it. So we're using the pinch collar, and the whole goal when you're doing reactivity, I'm not going to give the specifics of this session, but based on that and what I know we did today, is it's about getting your dog to be focused, calm, controlled, not getting sensory overload, being filtered when they're encountering other dogs, and getting increasingly closer, intensifying the situations where the dogs are more active, barking, more in their space as you do the work. But step one is getting a dog to comply to focusing on a command and not reacting. So previously he would see other dogs, he would pull, react, whine, get frustrated, fight the leash. And today what we did, we showed up at the dog park. I had the owners meet me not right in front. We met, and I say this even for dogs that are great with other dogs, and they get too excited. Do a little training first, then lead your dog in the park so they can learn to focus first. And for his sake, it's the only way he can handle being around the dogs, is under calm control. So we walked and we did heel exercises, which is walking with focus. We had him sit when we stop. And what you want to do, it's really just work your way closer and closer to the other dogs, and then just do a little bit of time. You try to reward him when he's checking in and calm, especially if you know that this is, well, we're getting closer than we ever had to another dog, and he's responding and listening and ignoring the dog. And I don't mean ignoring where he doesn't know they're there. I mean ignoring where the commands are so strong and he's so focused on the purpose of them that the dogs are secondary enough to deal with them and they're not as intense. Now again, this is step one. We don't want to have our dogs so focused and filtered that's the only way they can be around dogs. But until you're at that point where you go through rehabilitation process, that's the only way they're going to be around dogs. But at least you're turning off the reaction. That's why we have to be very preventative. You're getting control and getting your dog, as they see other dogs, and not reacting and checking with you through at least the context of commands initially, to reward them and keep pushing the proximity. That's why it's good, and it's hard now with COVID, but to find other dogs, groups of dogs, hanging out outside of dog parks if there's control and the dogs won't run up to him, just outside the fence. All of these ways, it's about exposure. But sometimes what people think is if their dog's reactive, you're just going to bring your dog around other dogs and it's going to fix itself. And that's not going to work. That's how it started. You brought your dog around other dogs, your dog didn't get socialized enough, and anytime they did, there was no control. And then when they get to a certain age, or based on the leash or wearing a harness that triggers things like that, you get a reactivity, and then it becomes just the norm, and usually it gets worse as time goes on. So you have to get your dog exposed to other dogs, but with this, again, I can't stress enough, focus, calm control through commands, create a calmer association, put a leadership role in your position, and have them just see that by not reacting so strongly and rewiring them to be calm, that becomes the new norm, and they can actually be calm enough to see, oh, you're just a dog, you're not a threat to me, instead of this vibration that I can't even, it's just too much to process, right? Because dogs are very intense to other dogs. That's why you see more reactivity towards another dog, or dogs with stronger energy than another human, right? And that's why a lot of times dogs that don't like men, same thing. Men have a strong energy and testosterone. A lot of times either they just sense men are more of that authority and they feel they have to give pushback, because even a dog with good intentions has an agenda. They like to get in each other's space. That's how they interact. They use body language. They contact each other. Some dogs think that's going to be threatening, so it's space-creating behavior. That's why I say reactivity isn't really aggression. Now, could it escalate to aggression? I've seen it. In most cases, it just gets stronger and stronger and harder to control and happens quicker, right? They're more assuming it. So I hope to understand what reactivity is. That's why I want to explain it a bit. Go back in many other walking podcasts, problem behavior podcasts, watch my show, The Untrainables, other YouTube videos. I put plenty of content out there that talks and demonstrates, about and demonstrates how to deal with reactivity, especially leash reactivity in dogs. So as far as, really, and it's just like anything, you want a foundation of structure, focus, control, not just like, oh, we're going to just do training at the dog park. Too little, too late. You got to be like on it. Like, these commands have to have value. I talk about the focus building, making the 3Ds happen. Duration, your dog can take a command and stay walking or sitting or laying in a spot for a duration of time. They can listen beyond you standing over the leash, working the training collar and holding their attention with a treat. And then distractions. And if your dog can't listen when you put a food bowl down, they're not going to turn off a reaction to another dog when you ask them to do an alternative like a command. So you got to build that muscle and make commands have value in their everyday life to get their needs met. And then all of that will complement the work. And then once you get some control, then it's on. Then you just want to socialize your dog and immerse. It can take a few months, right? But it's worth it, even for your dog to just be tolerant of other dogs and not have to react, and your walks are more calm and pleasant, and everybody wins in the end. But it can be nasty. I mean, your dog will struggle, and that was, today the dog, he fought the leash, he was fighting, flipping. The owner was nervous. I was like, no, he just thinks he's going to die because I'm walking him in a place where he thought he had to be out front and react in his perception to stay safe and protect the handler, and all these other things come into play. And it's not that. And I have to show him that if he freaks out, rolls around and bites and paws and tugs the leash, I'm just going to keep walking and make him sit and reset him. And I say it with casual confidence because I've never seen a dog yet that was worse off if I didn't just stick with it, and it's not a battle. It's just having the dog see the light that it's just, hey, I just want you to walk, but you're not going to die and the dogs aren't going to come get you. So you make sure you do it around safe dogs, and then you start doing some immersion where you're walking around dogs. Like I said, doing training exercises. Start getting your dogs, more frequently to go past the dog that you would normally avoid because they would react to that dog barking at the fence or whatever it is. And it gets easier. So that's hopefully gives you a little insight to reactivity more. I'm sure we'll talk about it many times over in the future. I have other content, and many other good trainers put out good information on how to understand and train and rehabilitate your dog through these type of issues. All right, so it's been episode, I think, 93. I'm Brett Endies, the Dog Savant podcast. Again, please just do a quick review. Send me a message. Let me know that, this podcast helps you. I get them from time to time, and I really appreciate them. Or a question you might have. And if you want online training, I can really help you. So let me know if you want to sign up for that. And thanks for listening. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.